Hello, everybody, and welcome back to a new year and a new semester and advanced financial management. My name's Dr. Alex Holcomb. I see from the roster that had a couple of you guys already, so welcome back. Those of you who don't know me, will have a good time, I hope. And this is your introductory lecture, so it's not really a lecture. It's just my chance to go over the syllabus a little bit, talk about the class, talk about expectations, what you should expect from me and the course, and what I expect from you in the course. We'll look at how everything is going to work differently in this class because it's online. We'll talk about the homework, exams, etc., etc., etc. This will be a little bit longer than the sort of typical videos that I'm going to post throughout the lectures, just because we're going to go through everything just in one go. If you have any questions about anything, of course, the best way to contact me is via email. Send me an email if you've got some questions about something I went over today, or if you have any questions about what to expect from the class that I didn't cover, or you're just curious about anything in the world. I'm happy to respond to any emails that you send me, set up a Zoom meeting, something like that. Okay. So the first thing we're going to do is just walk through the syllabus, talk about what's laid out here. Okay. So obviously this is advanced financial management. This class is online. It's asynchronous, meaning we're not going to have any direct face-to-face meetings. We're also not going to have any direct live Zoom lectures or meetings like that. All of the lectures, all of the examples that we work in this class, they're already pre-recorded videos. They're posted on YouTube. You can watch them at your own pace, at your own schedule. We'll talk about that a little bit too. If you want to meet with me at any point, although I do have an office, I'm never going to be in there, so send me an email. And we can meet on Zoom, or if I can answer it via email, I will answer it via email. Okay. I am available pretty much all week long during normal business hours. If you send me an email at 6 a.m., I'll respond when I get up, and if you send me an email at 11 a.m., I'll respond or 11 p.m., I'll respond the next day. But I am always, working, sitting at my computer, so I am pretty available to you guys if you need any help. Prerequisites for the class, there are done. This is for better or worse, a pretty advanced class. It's maybe the most advanced corporate finance class that you would take in the university, particularly at the undergraduate level. So you guys have a lot of work ahead of you. The prereqs are pretty serious because this material is pretty serious. So I do expect that you are very familiar with all the accounting that you need to graduate. So the prereq here is just accounting 1 and 2 more or less, but I expect that your familiarity with those accounting concepts is strong, meaning that when we talk about a balance sheet and an income statement, we're not going to have any refresher. We're not going to go over it again. I expect that you guys could build me a very basic balance sheet, assets on the left-hand side, liabilities and owner's equity on the right-hand side, income statement, that kind of stuff from scratch. We will talk about more extensive and more detailed, financial statements, and those financial statements in particular. But I certainly expect that you are very familiar with the basics. Okay? We are not going to use a whole lot of math in this class. I mean, just your general accounting math, finance math, so nothing crazy. So the math prereqs are not anything that you need to be worried about. The finance prereqs obviously are pretty significant. I definitely expect that everyone has taken financial management and the intro class, and hopefully investments, if not derivatives already. Certainly, we can make do if lots of people haven't taken derivatives, but certainly investments, intro, and the regular financial class are required for the course. Okay, and while we will sort of talk about them a little bit in general, your first homework will be a refresher for those finance courses. Again, there isn't going to be a big review section in this class. We're just going to jump right in. Okay. So I expect that you are coming here at the sort of end of your finance career in college, and at the very least have the resources to go and refresh your own memory, to review your own material, if you need to. Right. If there's something that we're talking about that you're not getting, you got to go find it out on your own, or just come ask me and we can talk about it. But we're not going to have a big review in this class. So feeling comfortable with all those topics is important. Right? We don't have to worry about the mass policy because we're not meeting in person. The course description is just going over what I expect that you are going to come out of this class with the ability to do or know. And essentially what I'm expecting you to know is that, or come out with the ability to do, is to build what's called a discounted cash flow valuation model. And you can use this model to value any financial asset. Okay? Now, this is a big, long, complex process, and honestly, probably even a semester's worth of classes is not enough to fully do it justice. But my goal for you is to be able to build a basic one for a relatively straightforward, financially speaking, straightforward company, and to come up with a value for that company at the end. Right now, there's a lot of detail, and of course, absorbing this material with this level of detail is difficult. It's not something that's going to happen overnight. It's not something that's going to happen at the end of the class. What I hope is that the framework sticks in your brain, and the details are just, if you end up doing work like this, the details are stuff that you're just going to have to sort of relearn, and they're going to change for different companies and things like that. So the details are going to be constantly evolving in the process of you doing a model, but the framework is what you should come out of this class doing. Okay. Now, you guys are all presumably finance majors, which means some of you may want to go into work like this. Being a financial analyst is the job description of basically someone who does this for a living. They're called financial analysts. Some of you guys may want to do that. Some of you may ultimately go into something similar or tangential to that at a major corporation or something like that. And certainly past students have, interviewing for positions like this, have been asked to build a basic framework for a DCF model as part of the interview process. Okay, so this is not one of those classes where we are going to talk about the abstract and we're going to talk about theory and stuff like that. This is going to be one of those classes where you are in the nitty-gritty. We're going to do a DCF model as part of your final homework, 2 big homework projects. We're going to talk about it. We're going to work one. I'll work one. I've got videos like showing you an actual one with a real company. We're going to talk details throughout the whole class. So this may be kind of an unusual class based on what you've done before. We're not going to be working a lot of problems out of the book or anything like that. This is going to be a very applied sort of class, okay? But one that can bring a lot of value to you if this is the kind of field that you want to go into, okay? Okay, text. I don't necessarily require a text, although I do have one listed. You can get it from the bookstore. It is the Valuation. This is the 6th edition of Valuation. It is a book produced by McKinsey & Company, which is one of the world's biggest consulting companies. It's probably the sort of most prestigious consulting company, financial consulting company. So McKinsey & Company is who, Coca-Cola calls in if they have a, company emergency, or if they're trying to evaluate a major investment decision or something like that. And they more or less, I guess literally wrote the book on how to do a DCF model and valuation process. And this is the gold standard book, both in academia and in practice. So if you have any interest in doing something like this, I highly recommend that you actually buy the book. It could be it's pretty cheap. I think it's like $30 or $40. So it's not your standard textbook. It's something that you will see on, any investment banker's desk or bookshelf. It's something that I reference all the time. It's a great book, and we will cover only a small fraction of all of the information and detail that's in this book, just because of time. We would need 2 semesters to even come close to covering this whole book in detail. Okay, so it's a great book, but I don't require it, where you're not going to work any problems out of it. I'm not going to make you read it and regurgitate it. All of the material that you need to succeed on the exams or the homework is going to come in the lectures and the example videos. But if you're interested and if you want more depth and more detail, this book is great. So I don't normally, I try never to require a book, and I don't even normally recommend that students buy it. Say in the intro, I would have told you not to buy the book, unless that's just how you learn. In this class, I really do think it's a great book, and it's one of the books that I wouldn't sell back. I would keep, and especially if this is the kind of field that you're interested in going into. Okay. Other than that, it's not required, so you don't have to. The things that are required in this class are 2 pieces of technology. First, you're going to need a financial calculator. By now, you guys have gone through the intro and financial management, so I assume that you are intimately familiar with a financial calculator. You are either going to need, say, a financial calculator like this, the BA2 Plus, or a graphing calculator of some kind. You're going to need to use it on the exams. There are going to be instances where you either need a calculator or you need to use the specific finance functions in the calculator. Okay, so you're going to need that. You're going to need your familiarity with that. You are also, of course, going to need to learn all of those financial functions in Excel, because all of your homework is going to be Excel based. Okay, so you won't be able to use Excel on the exams, obviously, but you're going to need both. Okay. The second piece of technology is a new requirement for the department. You guys may have already experienced this in your other classes or last semester, but the department is now requiring that all exams be given using the Respondus monitor system. So Respondus is a lockdown browser. It's a browser that you download. You take the exam. It locks down your computer during the exam so that you can't go to any external sites or anything like that. You're also going to be required to have a webcam that watches the exam, and this is because we had a bunch of instances of cheating, and so the department has now changed the policy. It's not what I would want to do, but unfortunately I don't have a choice in all these things. Okay, so you guys are taking an online class, so I don't think that's a huge issue. Everybody should already have a webcam, but that's you're going to need both of those things for an exam. Okay. Homework, everybody's going to need access to Excel. Again, this shouldn't be a huge issue. We'll walk through a little more detail on the homework and what it looks like, but you're going to be provided an Excel file. You're going to have to do all of the work in Excel, all the formulas in Excel, and turn it back in Excel. Okay, this is particularly if you are going into this field, Excel is going to be your bread and butter. You should, come out of college knowing more as much Excel as me, and after your first year working as a financial analyst, you should come back knowing 5 times the Excel that I do. So whatever you can do, if you want to be successful in this field, is whatever you can do to get better at Excel, to learn more about Excel, and there are classes at the university. There's tons of online tutorials. There's free online tutorials at Microsoft.com. There's a class in the finance department that's all Excel based that teaches you really advanced Excel techniques. But you got to find something and you got to use it. Okay. This is the number one thing that employers say they want more out of students, particularly in finance and economics. Okay. Schedule. Now, this is an online class, so there is no fixed schedule. We are not meeting on Tuesdays and Thursdays, but what I have listed here is a schedule as if we were meeting in person on Tuesdays and Thursdays. This would be the schedule that we kept. Okay, so this is the schedule that I am going to broadly follow. Now, that doesn't mean that you have to watch all of these videos on all of these days, but I would encourage you to actually do that. Okay, I would encourage you to treat this class just like we were meeting in person. Pick a time window on Tuesday and Thursday and sit down and watch half the videos. Watch the videos for that day. And then turn them all off and watch the next set of videos on Thursday. And just keep that schedule. It will make you more successful in this class, I promise. Okay. There's a lot of detail. This is not a class where you can binge watch 3 weeks worth of videos in a day and hope to retain any amount of material. Okay. That's just not how the brain works. The brain works better if you break up learning into small chunks, simply because we can't absorb all that material at once. The brain needs to record it into memory, and it can't record 3 hours of dense material into memory all at once, right? So the videos I'm posting, the lecture videos, are broken down into sort of 15-minute chunks. Watch a couple of those. Watch one, take a little break, walk around the house. Watch the next one, take a little break, walk around the house. Watch the third one, and then that's it for the day. You've watched half your videos for the week, and push the rest to the next week. Okay, don't try to cram all this stuff. It won't work. Okay? So what I will try to do to help keep you on schedule is to send out an email every week. And the email will just say, here's where we are in the class. Here's what we have to do this week in the class. Here's what's coming up after this week in the class. I will try to attempt to keep you on target, on schedule with what we need to do and where we're going. That's, of course, not a perfect system. I'll send out one email at the beginning of the week But I am otherwise relying on you all as, adults to manage your own time and schedule. You don't have to do it the way I am recommending that you do it, but if you do, you will be more successful, right? That's the correlation. Students that manage their online coursework like this are ultimately more successful in the long run. Okay. So for instance, on week 1, you're going to get an email saying, watch this video, and also watch the first part of the intro. And then on week 2, you'll get a video saying, finish the lectures for chapter 2 and start the lectures for chapter 6. And your first homework is due this week, so make sure that you get it done, right? And we'll work through one week at a time. I'll be trying to remind you as best I can. Okay? But you will do better if you right away just take this syllabus and put all these things into your calendar. Okay? And then you can set reminders and you won't be able to forget. Okay? So we do move relatively quickly in the class. We'll cover chapters about one chapter every week and a half or so, depending on the chapter. Some go longer than others, right? The dates on the syllabus that are important are the homework due dates and the exam due dates. Everything else is flexible and up to you, more or less, right? So the homework is always due on the day it's listed, right? So the homework 1 is due January 28th, and it's always due at midnight, okay? So you need to make sure that you are turning in the homework by midnight. This is Excel, so it means you actually have to submit the file. So don't go online at 11:59 and try to submit the homework and then send me an email saying that, oh, the system didn't work and I didn't get it up in time, right? You guys are adults. You have 2 weeks between each homework to submit, so don't leave it to the last minute. Make sure that you get on there and submit in time so that you don't get locked off. The exams are also going to be fixed on the day that they're listed. Okay, so the first exam is on February 25th. You will have a 24-hour window. So from midnight on the 24th to midnight on the 25th, you will have a 24-hour window in which to start the exam. You must be finished with the exam by midnight on the 25th. And that means you've got to start 90 minutes ahead, right? The exams are all going to be 90 minutes, an hour and a half. And these instructions that I'm saying to you are all posted right there on the exam. Like when you click on the link to take the exam. So there's there won't be an excuse for not knowing all this material. Okay. There's 3 exams. There's no final. There are 5 homeworks. The homeworks sort of get progressively more intense as you move through. So the first homework is kind of a review. The second and third homeworks are a little more in depth. The fourth and fifth homeworks are tied together. They're more like one project. And in these homeworks, so over like 5 weeks here, you will do your own discounted cash flow model for a made-up company that I have provided all these numbers for. So these 2 homeworks are significantly bigger and more difficult than the first 3. Okay? But they're all heavy duty. So please take all these homeworks seriously. Now let's jump into the As You Learn page so we can talk a little bit about that. Okay, so here's the As You Learn page. The announcements is how I'm going to contact everybody. That's how I'm going to send out my weekly emails. So please pay attention to those. They'll be left up there. So if there's anything that you thought you missed, or if there's just information that you want to know for later, it's there. The syllabus is here. You can see the syllabus that we're walking through. You can print it out if for some reason you want that. This is exactly what we just are going through. Okay, the lectures are posted next. Starting with some introductory finance review material. So these are all the slides from my earlier intro class. So if you want to or need to refresh your memory or refer back to any of the earlier intro material about something like time value of money or net present value or cash flow analysis or anything like that, bond valuation, stock valuation, all of that material is hosted here. Right? Weighted average cost of capital, things like that. So if anything that I just said doesn't ring a bell, 1, think about whether this is the right class for you right now. 2, come back here and look through all these slides and try to refresh your memory. Okay? Because all of that stuff is things that you're going to need, and it's things that I'm expecting that you already know. Okay? So we won't go over any of this material, but it is right here if you need help, right? Then by chapter, I have listed all of the material that we'll need for the class. For each chapter, there is some PowerPoint slides there are usually some example problems, but not always. And then there are lecture and example videos. Okay. So PowerPoint slides are not super detailed. This is not a class where you can get by just reading the PowerPoint slides, although they are more detailed than I would have in, say, an introduction class, because there is a lot more detail required in this course. So you can't get by just reading them, but they are a sort of guideline. For me, they're a framework for the lecture itself. Okay? So these are the highlights of the lecture. And the best way to use the slides is either to have them open in another window, in another monitor, or print them out and take notes on them while you're watching the videos. Again, I think the best way to do an online class is to treat it almost like it's in person. Print out the slides, take notes on them while you're watching the lecture. One of the best ways to enhance your own memory is to write things down. Physically writing has been shown to enhance your memory better than, say, typing things out. Okay, so I would encourage you to, say, print out the slides maybe, and then just take notes on them or whatever. I'll show you some of the videos, and you'll see how my videos are set up. So the lecture and example videos are posted for every lecture. So you'll see that they're listed in parts. We can click on here. So let's say part 1. They are hosted all on YouTube, so that if As You Learn ever goes down, which it does a lot, you guys I'm sure know by now, you can watch them directly on YouTube, or you can watch them in As You Learn just like this. If we click our way out of it, it'll take us to YouTube, my YouTube channel, and you can just you can bookmark it or subscribe or whatever you need to link to this YouTube channel, and then you have access to all the videos. There's also videos for all the intro classes. So if you really want refreshed, a review on the intro material, you can go back and, according to the chapters, you can go back and watch the intro videos if you really need some help. So what you'll see is that my videos are sort of interspersed between me lecturing and the slides that I'm talking about. So I try to make the videos as close to what an in-person lecture would look like. Of course, it's not perfect, but we all signed up for an online class. This is our third time going around the sun here. So this shouldn't be anything new to you. Hopefully it helps. I have had, so far, students have responded fairly well to this format, and certainly my grades and my learning outcomes haven't deteriorated. So there's videos like this here. At the end of the videos, if there is, these are all, well, I don't know why it's doing that, but it should just jump you straight into the next playlist. You can go to the channel and look at the playlists. Remember that there you need to look for the chapter that is 4660 and not the intro chapter. So we could find, say, chapter 2 for 4660. We could go to the playlist. You could watch all of it and any example videos that go along with it. Right? The examples are usually embedded in the lecture itself, and so you should be able to just watch them all the way through. Right? Again, these are lectures that would normally cover a full week. Okay, so if we look at our example here, we have, say, a Thursday and a Tuesday covering chapter 2, and you've got 4 videos. So if you watch 2 videos, or 1 and then 3, a general class meeting would be about an hour. So you watch the first one and then you watch the second half, and you've got your full week's worth of videos. Okay, so again, I strongly encourage you to try and keep a schedule like that. It's just going to make you better off. Okay. So all the videos and lectures are there. Where we have example videos that are separate, I posted them separately. Okay. There are some times where I have, again, or maybe not again, one of the biggest and most important things for those of you that are wanting to work in the financial world is that you need to start to be familiar with what's actually going on in the broader financial world. And that means you need to be keeping up with the financial news and business news and however you might want to do that, whether it's just Google News or whether it's a subscription to the Wall Street Journal, and student subscriptions are pretty cheap. Whatever it takes, you need to start familiarizing yourself with that if you aren't already, because you will find yourself needing that when you go into the business world. You may even find yourself needing it during an interview when a company asks you, a manager asks you to talk about how the recent oil crisis might affect the company. right? And they're just asking you to think critically about something that's going on in the real world and how that might affect the place that you're trying to work at, right? So this is a critically important thing for you. And as we go through this class, we're going to talk about some weird things, and you're going to think, this guy is full of shit, right? He is just bringing up all these like esoteric details that aren't going to matter. Well, what I have also posted along with lots of the lectures are Wall Street Journal articles that are discussing the very things that we're talking about in class and how those are impacting companies at large. Okay, so this is a very practical class, and I'm trying to post practical examples of what we're talking about in class, right? So they're there. I've always posted a Word document of these articles so that you can read the Word document if you don't have a Wall Street Journal access, okay? So you don't have to pay for it, although I do recommend it. There are a few other examples. For instance, in Chapter 8, we are going to work a discounted cash flow model together. So I've got an example here, and I've got example videos here where I work through an actual discounted cash flow model on Excel, recorded on the computer just like this, and I walk your way through it. This one's long. That's why there's actually like 2.5 weeks for the Chapter 8, right? Because there is a lot of material there. And this way you have time to watch the full example video, because that's the meat of the class. That's what we're doing. Okay, so lectures, all of the PowerPoint slides and videos, they're all already posted. You can go to the YouTube channel, you can watch them all. The homeworks are here, they're listed. You've got 5 homeworks. You will download a file from this link. You will upload the file back to this link. They will all be on Excel. You will need to, they have very detailed instructions on the first page of the Excel file. You'll need to follow those details to the letter to get any credit, okay? And then I'll grade them and repost them, okay? The exams are all here. Again, the exams will all be online. There is, again, detailed instructions about what you need to do for the exams, when they're due, etc., etc. They will all be online. You will need to use the Respondus monitoring system. To that end, there is a practice Respondus exam down here. It will be open from today, the start of class, until the day before the first exam. And you will be able to take it. This is just going to encourage you to download the Respondus browser, to hook up the webcam. It'll take you to a single question. You can just click yes or no. Doesn't matter what you answer, you'll get credit. And it is just worth 1 credit, 1 point towards your final grade. So if you get an 89 and you've taken the practice exam, you'll get a 90 in the class. That's all it's for. I want to just encourage you to do this, get everything set up before the first exam so we don't have any issues, right? Figure out the issues early, get an extra credit point. Super easy here. Take the practice exam. For every exam, there is a review file and a solutions for the review file that will help you prepare for the exam. However, this class is a weird one, and you will find that the review and the exams are maybe not what you expect, okay? That is because the meat of this class is learning how to do a very big, complicated modeling procedure based in Excel that might take you weeks to do in practice in line. A financial analyst analyzing a company using a DCF model, it might be weeks in the process. That is not something I can conceivably ask you to do on an exam. Even small parts of it are hard to questionize, I guess, to make questions that will fit in an exam format. Okay, so for that reason, the homeworks is where the practice is going to come in, where you are actually going to do the learning. The exams are going to be about the details, right? So the exams are going to be mostly conceptual, which means the reviews here are only going to cover the calculation types. They won't ask you conceptual questions. So the exams are going to be not outrageously difficult, but they're not easy to build reviews for, because if I ask you a conceptual question on a review, I can't ask the same thing on the exam. There's no point, right? So the exams are going to be more detail oriented. So that means you're going to have to study the lectures more than just, say, solving a bunch of problems. The Excel files, the homework, is where all the sort of hands-on work is going to come in. And that is why, as you'll see when we talk about the grade distribution, the homework is worth quite a bit in this class. Okay? So there are 3 exams. There are reviews for all the exams, and you'll be able to access those as the class moves on. Okay? Now, there's a gradebook here. I will be posting your grades. That's not the official gradebook for the university. So if your grades look unusual there or something like that, you just have to talk to me. I keep my own gradebook. This is just here for you to follow. Okay. Now, one other useful thing is that there is an upcoming events here. This is a calendar provided by Azure Learn. It has all of your courses on Azure Learn synced, so you can go to this calendar and it will tell you all the upcoming events, and it'll let you just click directly there for all your classes. Right? So the first thing you'll have available in this class is the first homework and this practice exam that you can just click through and take. Right? Now, one of the nicest things is that you can export this calendar. And again, this is all of your classes, and it will export straight to your G Calendar or your Outlook or whatever calendar you use. You can have it on your phone. You can set up all the reminders for all your assignments. You really have no reason to miss anything using this functionality. It's really great. Okay, it's really useful. Okay, let's jump back to the rest of the syllabus here. Okay, so all of the hard dates will be fixed. We're not going to move any of those. We shouldn't miss any classes or anything like that. It's all online. Everything else is more or less up to you. Okay. Now, the grades in the class will be weighted as follows. The homeworks are worth 40% of the grade, right? So they're a huge percentage. Each homework is worth 8 points. You just can't miss any of the homeworks in this class and do well, right? This is where you will get the actual practice of doing what you're learning about. The exams are worth 20% each. Again, the exams are going to be more focused on the details, and you'll see what I mean when we're talking about details during the class. Grade distribution is very standard. Nothing new here. If you say I do give pluses but I don't give minuses, and I give pluses for the top 2 points in any decile. So if you get an 88 or an 89, that's a B plus. Everything else is a B. Okay. Exams, makeup exams, all that stuff, probably not going to be an issue now that it's online. You have 24 hours to do it, so you can take it at your leisure. You must take all the exams. Obviously, there's no makeups or anything like that. Academic integrity. This just says don't cheat. And again, we've had a rash of cheating since classes have moved online. We've had to make adjustments to the way we're teaching the class and the way we're giving exams. I personally have had to turn in a few just this last semester. It's not fun for anybody. It's a lot of work. It's not great to have to retake a class, or worse if you're a multiple offender. So don't do it. You guys are seniors. This is the worst time to do it. Just push through one last semester, one more year, whatever it is, and take this class seriously as you would anything else. Okay. Okay. That's all I have for this introduction. I hope you guys all stick around. This is a really dynamic and interesting class when it's in person. And because it's usually a small class, we can have a lot of interaction. That is, of course, not the case when it's online. And this class, at least for me, is a particularly difficult one to turn into an online course. So I encourage you guys to reach out if you have questions, and if some of this stuff seems really esoteric and strange, it is. This is a hard concept to wrap your mind around, and I would much rather talk it out with you on Zoom than find out, after you fail the exam, that you didn't understand anything that I was talking about. Okay. That being said, people are usually very successful in this class, and I hope that you all are successful as well. Okay, I don't curve, I don't round or any of the grades in this class. So the grades that you get will be the grade that you earned, and typically students do really well. Okay, my average in this class is historically a B, and I think it's just because the students that tend to sign up for a class like this are ones that are already interested in finance. So I don't have to do any cajoling or encouraging, right? But I am not going to save you either. So you need to put in the work. But if you do, I think this class can be really rewarding. Okay. So I'm always here. I definitely want to meet with you. I wish we could do this in person, and unfortunately we can't, so we won't. But we can do it on Zoom, and hopefully that's enough. Okay. So good luck, and please reach out if you have any questions or if you just want to chat.